The 5 Gentlecolts. My Little Pony fanfic by StarThief. Chapter 1, 30 Moons is a long time. It's been so long since I last saw this mirror, said Moon as he looked at his reflection in the aforementioned mirror. Yes. Starswirl made it when you and I were much younger. You know, before. Celestial looked at his younger brother and then simply averted his gaze. The point is that our Twilight comes from some world beyond this mirror, but I wonder how she managed to get here while the portal is closed. There are still 30 moons left before it opens again. Celestial. I have to ask, that young mare who brought me back. Where did she come from? I don't remember the last time I saw you put so much trust in a pony. There was another one, but he also left through this mirror. Whatever the case, Twilight Sparkle is my most loyal student, the best unicorn that Magic Academy has ever seen, but unfortunately that very fact has worked against her. That's why I sent her to Ponyville, so she could learn about the magic of friendship. After all, we know it's the most powerful magic we have, it was made clear, and that's why you're here again. She's been living here in the palace for some time already. She even has her own floor and everything. I've seen how she's grown since then. That's exactly why I want her back, but at the same time I'm curious about this version of her who now lives in her body. In the place she comes from, you and I don't rule anymore, she does. But she knows us, she knows we were the ones who sat on the throne before her, and she respects that. That means Twilight might be even more than what I expected at first. Well, I don't know if I paid much attention in Teacher Starswirl's classes, but I think she did mention that the mirror had to be in perfect condition to be used, right? Moon said, looking more closely at the mirror and noticing that it was cracked. Celestial looked as well and noticed the same thing. He quickly felt a wave of worry. The teacher took much longer than 30 moons to create it. I'm afraid it's impossible to use it like this. Well, but you can replicate it, can't you? Of course. But it will take a long time. It's best if we don't tell Twilight. This would worry her more than she already is. A loud scream was heard from the library entrance. Spike quickly ran downstairs and saw Twilight, who was staring at the floor, completely shaken after that scream. Twilight. What's wrong? Are you okay? Spike asked. Yes. Well, no. I'm in another world, far from my true home, from my true friends. From the real Princess Celestia and my real Spike. Twilight quickly realized what she was about to say and stopped, but it seemed it was already too late. She could see the sad look in the dragon's eyes. I didn't mean that. It's just that. The prince already told me, you're not my Twilight. Even so, if I can help you somehow, I'll try, okay? I'm really sorry you have to go through this. Do you know where my Twilight is? I'm sorry, Spike, I don't know where she is. It's likely she's in my world right now. I hope she's alright. Twilight said as she walked over to a shelf and started looking through the books until she found the book of magical relics where the descriptions of the elements of harmony were. If she is in my world. You don't have to worry, she's fine, I can assure you. Where I come from I have the best friends I could ever wish for, and I have a very kind and helpful Spike, really good, the best little brother I could wish for, hee. Twilight said this with a smile and noticed how Spike's eyes lit up at that. What's it like over there? Everything is incredible. All species finally coexist in peace. I've only been ruling Equestria for a few months, but everything is so wonderful. Spike, you should see it, the School of Friendship is a wonderful place, the castle too, and there's also the Crystal Empire. Cadance in Shining Armor have a beautiful baby Anne. Shining Armor marries Cadance? Who's that? Ha! He. I don't know what she's called here. She's the princess of love, and Shining, where I come from, is a tall and strong stallion, leader of the royal guard of Canterlot and prince of the Crystal Empire. Incredible! What am I like? Twilight smiled tenderly and hugged him. Just as adorable, hee hee. Hee hee. By the way, this came for you. Sorry for not giving it to you earlier, but, well, you spent the whole afternoon in the hospital, said Spike, then handed her a small letter. Ha! Twilight used her horn to open the letter and read the contents. Asterisk Twilight Sparkle, such a beautiful name for a beautiful unicorn. I am captivated, amazed by you. My heart beats with longing and joy whenever I look at you, my eyes light up when they admire you, and my life brightens when I hear you speak. I hope I can keep seeing you soon. With affection and admiration. Your secret admirer Asterisk. Twilight stared at the letter in surprise, then examined the envelope in detail, but there were no clues. Also, the letter had been written on a typewriter, so it was impossible to figure out who it was from based on handwriting. It seems the Twilight of this world has a secret admirer who's in love with her. That's very sweet, hee hee. I'd better find a way to get back home so she can come back too and discover who it is. But right now I'm very tired, I need a bath? I figured. The tub is already ready, enjoy your bath, Spike said with a smile. Wow, Spike. At least you are exactly the same, thank you, hee hee. Twilight said with a smile as well, then walked toward the bathroom. Come on, Rainbow. You can do it, Pinkie shouted while bouncing with joy next to Fluttershy. Both of them watched excitedly as Rainbow did maneuvers at full speed across Ponyville's sky while clearing it. Hooray! Fluttershy said with a smile. Can you imagine how awesome it would be to be a Pegasus? Going here and there, grabbing clouds, looking down at every pony from above and flying, can you imagine it, Fluttershy? Pinkie asked with a big grin. Fluttershy just looked at her own wings and then looked back at Pinkie. Yes. I'm sure it's great. That was amazing, wasn't it? Rainbow said as he landed next to them at high speed. It was. Obviously, I'm awesome, hee hee. But I need more cheering. But you already have our cheering, Rainbow, Fluttershy said. I mean, yeah, and it's great, you're the best fans I could ask for, but I'm talking about cheering from pretty Pegasus girls, admiring my maneuvers, my speed, shouting my name and fainting when they see me up close, hee. When I become a Wonderbolt, all the pretty Maras will line up for me, I'll be a big celebrity. Rainbow said, grinning from ear to ear as he imagined it all. Oh. But even without all that, I think you're pretty good, Rainbow. Yeah, thanks, Fluttershy. And speaking of which, what time are we going to the lake later? Applejack said he'd bring cider, and I'm dying to try it. Oh, in about 2 hours. I'll bring cupcakes. That's so you. What about you, Fluttershy? Are we talking about the gift for Twilight? Well, I got her something very nice, I hope she likes. Twilight's gift. Darn it. Rainbow blurted out, now nervous. What's wrong? You haven't gotten her anything? I also prepared a nice gift for her, I hope she likes it too. I can't wait to know what Applejack and Rarity will give her, Pinkie said with a smile. But Rainbow just sat down to think about what would be good to get Twilight in only 2 hours. Everything okay? Fluttershy asked as he walked closer to him. Yeah. What did you two get for her? Fluttershy thought for a second about whether he should say it, but in the end he did. The little bees near my house have given a lot of honey these days, so I'll bring her a few jars, it's really tasty. You, Pinkie. Cupcakes. Nah, I got her a cute teddy bear, I'm sure she'll love it and it'll be nice to have it on her bed, or in the library, or in the kitchen. or in the BA. Yeah, I get it. Darn it, I've got very little time to think of what to give her, I totally forgot. This is all Applejack's fault, he's the one who planned giving her gifts. Well, I don't think we're obligated, after all it's just a gift, Anne. That's it, Fluttershy. I'll go see if Rarity and Applejack are also giving her a gift. If one of them isn't, then I won't either, that way I won't be the only one who looks bad, hee hee. Rainbow Dash said, smiling. I don't think that. Perfect. With that, Rainbow flew off, leaving a rainbow streak behind him due to his speed, while Pinkie and Fluttershy just silently watched in the direction he flew. I have a bad feeling about this, Fluttershy said. Meanwhile, Rarity was finishing the last details on a dress while humming a song quietly. Let's see. Maybe a bit more glitter in the neckline are. Rarity! His younger brother shouted from the doorway, then flung the door open. Ah! TCH. Sweet. How many times have I told you to knock before coming into my studio? I need complete silence and calm so I can Oh. Well, I yelled your name before coming in. Besides, Rainbow Dash is looking for you. The young unicorn replied. Rarity raised an eyebrow slightly and then looked toward the door. Rainbow Dash. Fine, tell him I'm coming. No need. I'm already here, Rainbow said as he rushed into the room, causing several fabrics and decorations to fly into the air. Hey! Rainbow Dash. Oops. Sorry, Rarity, but this is really urgent, I need to know something. Rainbow said. TCH. Fine, whatever it is, say it now before I change my mind and throw you out of here. Rainbow nodded and then looked all around the place from top to bottom. Seeing nothing that looked like a gift, he smiled and looked at the unicorn. You're not giving Twilight a gift either, huh? Wow, that's new coming from you. What's up with that? Rarity looked at him in silence for a few seconds and then let out a soft laugh. Oh, darling, who do you take me for? Of course I got Twilight something beautiful, in fact it's a bit bad that I'm the one saying it, since I made it myself. Rarity replied. Then, with his horn, he opened a wardrobe, took out a box from it, and from the box he pulled out a white hat with a purple bow. Rarity simply smiled, proud of himself. Oh. Alright, I should have guessed, hee hee. There are only a few hours left before we go to the lake. I can't wait to see her face when she opens the box and sees the best gift, hee hee. I bet she'll want to wear it all the time. Anne? What's with that face? Is something bothering you? Rarity asked, noticing the embarrassed look on Rainbow Dash's face. We'll see which gift Twilight likes the most, but your hat is just fine. I mean, some of us will give her better things, but you're Oh. Wow, you really don't have anything for her, Rarity said with a teasing smile. Shut up. Rainbow Dash, I really can't say I'm surprised. Poor Twilight. But it's fine, this isn't a competition, it's just a little detail for our friend. If it were a competition, though, I think it would finally be the first one where you come in. Last place. Rainbow Dash pouted and then just folded his forelegs while looking away. TCH. You'll see, your little hat will be nothing compared to what I give her. Rainbow Dash. Seriously, this is not a competition, you do know that. Silence, pretty boy, he said, then flew out at high speed through the window, leaving even more of a mess than he'd already caused. TCH. He's such a... Rarity began, annoyed, but then just sighed and started picking his things up. While Rainbow was flying at high speed toward Sweet Apple Acres, he could see it in the distance, but he stopped short when he saw Spike below, coming out of one of the Ponyville shops with a bag of newly bought items. He quickly flew down and stopped right in front of him. Spike. My favorite dragon, hee my friend. What VE you got there? Some things Twilight asked me to get. She said tonight she's going to try an experiment, something about a message book she used to communicate with friends from another dimension. For a second I also thought she was going to ask for one of those boards with letters and numbers to contact spirits. Spike said as he looked at the Pegasus. Oh. I see, so she's still researching how to get back to her dimension. Hey, that's right, now that I think about it, she's not our Twilight. She isn't, but she's still the Twilight of our other versions. Something like that is what she told me. It's funny, in the dimension she comes from I'm still male. And you're all girls, haha. It's hard to picture you or Applejack as girls. Spike said, smiling. Hey! What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, hee. Anyway. Maybe I should remind her you're all going to the lake. If she's like our Twilight, it's most likely she's reading book after book right now and forgets all about going out. Books. She likes books. Are you kidding? She loves them. Perfect. Thanks. Rainbow said, then flew off at high speed. As the hours passed, the guys were already starting to gather at the lake. The first to arrive was Fluttershy, who was carrying some jars of honey and had his little bunny Angelina riding on his back. It wasn't long before he saw Applejack in the distance, arriving with a somewhat small cart loaded with some pastries. When he saw Fluttershy, he smiled, left the cart nearby, and then went over to greet him. Wow, Applejack, they smell delicious. Is all that for Twilight? Huh? Oh, no. Well, yes. But not all just for her. Unless the Twilight from that dimension is a big eater, and there'd be nothing wrong with that, but even then I find it hard to believe a single pony could finish a whole picnic feast. Why do you ask? Oh, great, you brought honey, it'll go perfect with these tasty apple brea. Wait. So you didn't bring her a gift then? Fluttershy asked. Well, yeah, this is the gift, but it's not just for her, it's for everyone. Last night I said it would be nice to organize something for her, but all of you thought I meant showering her with presents, so I took it upon myself to just bring this food so the get-together would be a picnic. Fluttershy blushed faintly and lowered his gaze, gently kicking at the dirt. Oh. Maybe I should have stayed and listened better to your idea. The good thing is I brought several jars of honey, that way it'll look more subtle. The young Pegasus said, embarrassed. Applejack just smiled and nodded. Gifts aren't bad either, but I don't know how it looks for us to pile gifts on the only girl in the group. It's like those radio dramas the old stallion likes so much. Yeah, I didn't stop to think about that. You're always so straightforward and honest about what you think. Does Twilight not seem pretty to you like she does to the rest of us? Applejack blushed slightly and then swallowed. Are you sure I'm the straightforward one here? Oh, sorry, it's just that. Of course Twilight's pretty, but I put myself in her horseshoes. 5 guys suddenly showering her with flattery and spoiling her, I don't know if a girl like her would like that. Maybe if Rarity were a mare, maybe a girl like Rarity would like that, but with Twilight I'm not so sure, so it's better to take everything slowly. I also don't want us to come off as desperate. Fluttershy nodded and then imagined a Rarity who was female. It wasn't hard to picture him surrounded by suitors, even the Rarity they knew already had a lot of girls chasing after him. Even so, the others are going to give her all their gifts. Rainbow Dash was even going back and forth earlier, he forgot his gift. Ugh. That's worse, he turns everything into a competition. Hi, guys. Twilight said as she arrived at the spot with Spike on her back. Both of them smiled when they saw her and greeted her kindly. Applejack was the first to approach and talk to her. Howdy. How are you feeling? what do you think of our dimension?
Twilight smiled, a bit embarrassed, and then used her horn to pull a book out of the bag she was also carrying.
Where I come from, I had an old book that used to belong to my mentor, and with it I communicated with a friend from another dimension as well. I want to see if I can replicate it to try to establish contact with my friends back home. Or even with your Twilight. But I still haven't made much progress. In the meantime, this dimension is lovely to me, it's exactly like mine. Well, but there are some things that aren't here. I don't want to go into too much detail about that, hee. Applejack looked quickly from side to side, not fully understanding what she meant, but he smiled anyway. Well, since you're new, so to speak, I thought it'd be nice if we organized something for you. The others aren't here yet, but we can get started, they won't mind. Applejack said as he began setting up things for the picnic. Twilight stared in amazement at all the food Applejack had brought. She couldn't help smiling and licking her lips when she saw it all. Wow! Applejack. It looks delicious. Spike said, looking at everything from Twilight's back. Go on, eat, you too, Spike. Applejack said proudly. I brought some honey. Well, this one is for you, Twilight. Fluttershy said as he took out a jar with a purple ribbon and handed it to the unicorn. I figured you'd like having a jar just for yourself, hee. He placed the rest of the jars next to the pastries Applejack had made. Wow, guys, that's very sweet of you. You really didn't have to worry about this. But it doesn't surprise me, you're just like the girls. The two stallions looked at each other and then looked back at Twilight, confused. Well. You know, where I come from. You guys. Oh, right, that, hee. What are we like exactly over there? Believe me, you're exactly the same, the only thing that changes is your gender. In fact, Applejack, Big Mac is much bigger than your sister here, he's a strong, enormous stallion. Little Mac is a stallion, well, hee. Though she's already strong, believe me, don't make her mad. I'm guessing Apple Bloom is also a girl over there. Yes, her and the Crusaders, hee. Wow, it seems our worlds really are quite similar. Fluttershy said, smiling. Hi, guys. Pinky said as he arrived, bouncing as usual, but this time he was carrying, held up in the swirl of his mane, that plushie he had mentioned a few hours earlier to Fluttershy and Rainbow. Twilight smiled and waved a hoof. Wow, what's that? Were you babysitting the Cake Twins? Twilight asked. Pinky just tilted his head in confusion and then finally understood what she meant. They have twins in your world? The cakes, I mean. Whoops. I think I said too much, hee. Twilight said, a bit nervous. Things here are so similar to home that I forget. Anyway, doesn't matter, this plushie is for you. I saw it, thought it was cute, and it reminded me of you. Pinky said with a huge grin on his face. Twilight blushed a little and returned the smile, then used her horn to take the plushie. That's very sweet of you, Pinky, thank you so much. I'm glad you like it. Pinky replied. While Fluttershy and Applejack watched the pink pony, they couldn't help thinking about how straightforward his words had been in calling her cute. Even though it wasn't that big of a compliment and Twilight likely didn't take it as flirting, the two of them still felt a bit overshadowed. But Applejack didn't let himself get carried away by that, he just took one of the pastries he'd brought and started eating while looking around. So where are the others? I really want to see the gifts Rarity and Rainbow Dash are going to give Twilight. Pinky said excitedly. Twilight couldn't help noticing the pattern, and she quickly stood up, looking at the three stallions there. Let me get this straight. Rainbow and Rarity are also going to give me a gift? What's going on here? She asked, tilting her head slightly. Well. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very sorry for being late this afternoon, but I had to clean up the mess Rainbow Dash left in my studio, and on top of that Sweetie Belle insisted on helping me, so the mess got even worse. Rarity said as he arrived at the spot, carrying the box where he kept Twilight's hat. Twilight saw the box and immediately understood. Oh, Twilight, darling, I'm so glad to see you again, you know? It's such a joy for me. For all of us to have you here, I mean, you're extremely radiant, so something as lovely as you deserves to have the finest things so it can be even more lovely. That's why I made you a hat, I hope it's to your liking, a gift from me to you, dear. Rarity said as he took the hat out of the box and gently set it on Twilight's head. At first, she felt a bit embarrassed and slightly annoyed, but she quickly noticed how pretty the hat was and blushed faintly. Wow, Rarity, it's really cute, No. Hey, you guys. The four ponies there looked at the purple unicorn with some concern as she took off the hat and carefully set it on the picnic blanket. I really appreciate how kind you all are to me, I truly do. It's nice to feel welcome in this dimension, but I think you're overdoing it a bit. There's no need to shower me with gifts or anything like that, we're friends, an afternoon with you is more than enough. Twilight said as she looked at them. Why are you doing this? Of course I'm grateful, but I don't want you to spoil me like this. Treat me normally, the way you treat your Twilight from here. Rarity let out a small laugh and then nodded. Darling, believe me, there isn't a single difference between how I treat you and how I treat our original Twilight. So you can put aside those ideas that I'm trying to get something out of this or that I'm spoiling you to look good. I simply want to give you nice little things you deserve. Applejack said we should give you gifts. Pinkie said. Fluttershy just lowered his gaze and nodded. Twilight looked at Applejack, who, upon hearing Pinkie, gulped down a piece of his pastry and started coughing. When he finally managed to swallow properly, he just gave Twilight a somewhat embarrassed smile. I didn't say that. Well, I did say it, but they misunderstood. I just said it would be nice if we did something special for you. Yesterday you looked really stressed by all that mirror and dimension stuff. I just wanted to be kind, but they were the ones who decided we should each give you separate gifts. That's why I brought pastries for everyone. I figured each of them would only bring things for you, so I took the time to make something for all of us, like in my original plan. Twilight smiled at Applejack's words. That's very sweet, thank you. But even so, you didn't have to. You mentioned it was just a casual friendship outing, that was enough for me. There was no need for gifts or doing something special for me. You're exactly like my best friends, I feel happy with you. Rarity smiled again and put the hat back on Twilight. Even so, darling, I'd already planned on giving you something nice. He. Besides, it's sunny, please wear it. Speaking of which, where is Rainbow Dash? He mentioned his gift would be the best or something like that. I think he was even going to see you, Applejack. Ha! I haven't seen him all day. He probably fell asleep in some tree and forgot about the outing, you know how he is. Doesn't matter, let's eat and have a nice time. As friends, Applejack said, emphasizing the last part while looking at Twilight. Take care, Twilight, if you need anything you can tell us. Fluttershy said as he said goodbye to everyone and headed down the path home. They had already finished the picnic and were now on their way home while the sky slowly turned more orange with the sunset. See you later. I promised I'd do the evening sales before closing at Sugar Cube Corner. Pinkie said and then headed off as well. The last ones remaining were Rarity and Applejack, who walked Twilight back to the library. Well, once again, you've walked me home, thank you. I really appreciate what you did today. But the gifts weren't necessary, I don't want you to spoil me, I just want to be with you because I like being with you, okay? Both of them nodded with a smile. Yeah. Maybe I should have stayed to listen to Applejack and given you the gift later. Maybe I should have explained myself better.
Even so, it's a shame Rainbow Dash wasn't with us, but I'll let him know your opinion about the gift in case he's planning something.
Well, when I see him, Applejack said. Twilight smiled gently and walked over to give each of them a soft kiss on the cheek, then walked toward the door. Well, I suppose I'll see you later. Of all the places I could have ended up, I'm glad it was here. After all, I already know you, just with slight differences. Don't worry about your Twilight, she'll be fine in my world. I can assure you that your versions over there are just like you, they'll take good care of her. Twilight said with a smile, then went into the library.
The two stallions looked at each other and then let out a small sigh of relief.
Aren't you worried about our Twilight? I know she said she'll be fine, but... Relax.
This Twilight comes from a world where she already has much more experience, her behavior shows it all. Our Twilight is a bit of a hermit and shy, she's more open and social. Something tells me the things she's gone through with our versions in her world have helped her for the better.
Thus, I'm sure that our Twilight will be fine. Applejack said as he looked at one of the library windows. It's just strange. She might be missing out on something in her world, and ours might be missing out on something here.
Rarity looked over at the library's mailbox and then nodded.
You're right. Want me to help you carry that to Sweet Apple Acres? It looks heavy. Nah, you know this is nothing for me, we apples are strong.
Mac could carry 3 of these stacked on top of each other without a problem.
Really? She's kind of small. One time she didn't measure her strength when she was bucking apples and ended up breaking the tree by accident. Sure, it was already an old apple tree, but it takes a lot of strength to do that. Anyway, bye, Rarity, sleep well. Applejack said, then walked off. Rarity nodded and did the same.
Meanwhile, back in the library, Twilight sat down and looked at the book she was working on.
Goodness. I can't believe I never asked Celestia or Sunset how the book actually worked. If I want to go home, I need to make a replica to use it together with the mirror like the one I have at home. Or at least to communicate with the others. That's it. Spike.
As soon as Twilight shouted, Spike came out of the kitchen with a tray holding 2 cups of tea and a plate of cookies.
You're back, good, I was afraid your cup would get cold, hee. Oh, thanks, Spike, put it on the table. I need you to write a letter to Princess Celestia. Celestia? You mean Prince Celestial, right? Oh. Why yeah. Hee, I need to know if he has a magic book that might help me or if he knows how to make one. If things are the same as at home, that means Sunset Shimmer is at Canterlot High, so I could communicate with her. Or use the book to communicate with my world. Maybe even make a manual portal like I did back home. Spike just stared at Twilight in confusion while she talked. Wait. No, it's a bad idea to try to talk to Sunset. If things are the same as back home, that means my version from here hasn't gone to Canterlot High yet, so Sunset is still a bully. TCH. That book wouldn't be very useful, its connection is directly to Sunset. Or the Sunset from here, so it would take me to her world. I need to recreate it, to contact my world. Spike, write, please. Wow, I thought you'd never say it. All right. Spike took some paper and ink and got ready. Dear Prince Celestial, I'm sorry to bother you, but it's about my home, the place I come from. Princess Celestia had a magic book to communicate with one of her students. If things are the same, that means you have the same book, but your copy won't work for me. I need your help to replicate the magic that powers that book. I have the theory that it might help me communicate with home or even return. Thank you. Spike wrote it down, then rolled up the parchment and finally breathed fire on it to send it. I didn't understand anything you were talking about, but I just know it's important to you, so you can count on me, okay? Twilight nodded with a smile.
Celestial received the letter right in front of him while he was reading one of the old books his teacher had left him. He was looking for a way to replicate the magic she had used to create the mirror in order to repair it, but upon seeing the letter, he closed the book, not without first placing a bookmark, opened the letter, and read it.
Wow! It didn't take her long to bring up the book. She's already aware that it would be connected to the world Sunset went to and not to her own.
Celestial looked at the book he had been reading not long ago and then sighed.
I can't mention the mirror to her. At least not yet. Celestial took some ink and a parchment and began to write as well.
Dear Twilight, I admire how quickly you considered that book, and that confirms that without a doubt you are a prepared and perceptive princess. I'm starting to see why my counterpart gave you that title. However, as you yourself mention, I cannot give you my version of the book, but I will give you the necessary steps so you can recreate your own.
I recommend that you don't use it immediately with the mirror.
Learn this magic and use it, establish a connection with your friends in your world, let them know you are alright, and, if you can, please obtain information about our Twilight.
I wish you good luck with your replica.
After that, Celestial took a magic book where the necessary information to help her was written and sent it along with the parchment he had just written.